Long ago, in the twilight of a world infused with wonder and peril, there lay the ancient realm of Aeridor. In Aeridor, magic had once flowed as a boundless river through every living being, carrying secrets of creation and destruction. But as ages passed, enchantment withered away, becoming little more than a forgotten whisper among the ruins of cities and the silent murmurs of wind through barren moors. In this mystical realm, sorrow reigned supreme, a solemn queen whose cold embrace had swallowed countless dreams and aspirations. The land, scarred by centuries of neglect and despair, now lay trapped between memories of a luminous past and the dreaded shadow of an uncertain future. The people of Aeridor carried the weight of their ancestors' ancient hopes, yet the magic which once promised deliverance had been long sealed, hidden away from mortal eyes in crypts and secret vaults. The ancient chronicles spoke of 7 forbidden spells, each imbued with a potent force capable of not only transforming reality but also dismantling the fabric of the soul. These spells were not mere incantations, but the living embodiments of sorrow and regret, painstakingly forged by an enigmatic order centuries ago to serve as both blessing and curse. Imbued with the essence of ephemeral beauty and abject despair, the spells lay dormant, locked away in secluded sanctuaries guarded by ancient runes and deep-rooted fears. The fabled tomes that chronicled their existence had been scattered to the winds, their pages hidden in labyrinthine libraries and secretive chambers beneath forgotten towers. Aeridor's people, once vibrant and hopeful, now scurried like shadows of their former selves amid decaying remnants of a once resplendent kingdom. Their hearts bore the heavy weight of loss and faded love, unaware that destiny was silently weaving a tapestry of calamity and redemption in the space between the nodes of their daily torment. The legacy of the 7 spells of sorrow, so meticulously concealed from those unworthy, stirred as tendrils of unrecognized fate began to awaken. The quiet hum of dormant energy in stone as old as time hinted at the nefarious potential that lay coiled beneath the surface of each ruined village, each towering relic of a forgotten age. In every whispered wind and every murmuring brook, the land seemed to lament the inevitability of its own tragic destiny. Amidst the silent ruins and the heavy air that blanketed Aeridor, something began to stir that would forever alter the fate of its people. In the dim light of a dying dusk, subtle ripples of unbridled energy wove through the ancient stone pathways and crumbling archways. It was as though the very soul of the land was echoing a long-forgotten lament, resonating with quiet dread. The whispers of nature, once dormant, grew louder, their cadence intertwining with palpable melancholy, heralding a profound disturbance in the deep-seated balance between hope and desolation. Beneath the dismal skyline, aged manuscripts and relics hinted at a legacy of forbidden knowledge. Scholars had long debated the existence of the 7 spells of sorrow, their words trailing rumors of both salvation and ruin. Hidden within intricate carvings and enigmatic incantations was the promise of ultimate power, a power so immense that few could bear its weight. Chroniclers spoke of how these spells had been conceived in moments of great despair, forged from intense emotions that marred otherwise stable lives. The inherent paradox of such a creation was that it could mend shattered worlds as easily as it would tear them asunder. Now, the dormant vestiges of their emergence began to pulse, with a spectral glow, as if yearning to reclaim dominion over a forsaken destiny. The air grew thick with tension as unseen forces awakened from their celestial slumber. A cosmic alignment, long anticipated by the mystics of ancient lore, cascaded gentle rays of sorrowful light across hidden enclaves. The ripple of energy that had once whispered quietly was swelling into a tangible tide of fate, compelling even the most indifferent spirits of Aeridor to heed its call. The trembling ground mirrored the undercurrent of impending doom, as old seals began to break and the barriers between what was concealed and what was meant to remain secret dissolved slowly into the shadowed ether. Each gust of wind carried with it fragments of forgotten memories, evoking sensations that were both bittersweet and foreboding. The once silent vaults of history embraced an eerie symphony of resurrection, where every echo spoke of destiny's inexorable march. In spaces between crumbling columns and beneath worn mosaics, the energy that heralded the arrival of the forbidden spells stirred the dust of centuries into patterns that defied mortal understanding. The awakening of this latent magic was immediate and undeniable, a silent summons to those who had long kept their inner fires dimmed. It set the stage for a journey that would weave together the threads of despair, memory, and the indomitable human spirit in the tapestry of Aeridor's unfolding saga. Within the crumbling corridors of ancient temples, the shimmering echoes of power danced in defiance of time itself. The somber melody of cascading waterfalls and the rustling leaves in overgrown gardens merged with the subtle hum of magic, creating a paradoxical harmony that both soothed and warmed the hearts of those who witnessed it. Every fallen stone seemed to murmur secrets of bygone eras, bearing silent testimony to the struggle between hope and inevitable downfall. This awakening was not merely a call to arms but an invitation to confront the recesses of sorrow. Within the labyrinthine back alleys of a crumbling city, fate began its mischievous work as a young and cynical thief made her mark upon destiny. In the depths of an underground market, where wares of dubious origin exchanged hands beneath flickering lamplight, the thief, known for her subtle cunning and guarded heart, stumbled upon a relic long thought to be a mere trinket. The relic, a small, intricately carved pendant, pulsed with an otherworldly energy that whispered of both danger and desire. Unbeknownst to her, this was no ordinary artifact but the key that would unlock the first of the 7 spells of sorrow. An age-old enchantment imprisoned for reasons shrouded in painful memory. In a twist of fate as cruel as it was ironic, the act of her casual pilfering shattered the ancient seals that had held the spell captive for countless centuries. The unlocking was not a tumultuous event but rather a subtle exhalation of long-suppressed despair, releasing a cascade of ethereal light that spread like ink in still water. As the magic diffused into the urban shadows, the world around her shuddered imperceptibly, resonating with the power and sorrow of a legacy that should have remained undisturbed for eternity. The thief, colored by years of hardened cynicism and punctuated by fleeting moments of defiant hope, became inadvertently ensnared in the web of ancient destiny. In that moment, the weight of unwitting responsibility cascaded over her, a burden both terrifying and inexplicably alluring. The disturbing beauty of the unleashed magic wove itself into the very fabric of her existence, hinting at paths of redemption and ruin. Every step she took thereafter was shadowed by an echo of the spell's forlorn lament, linking her fate inextricably with the fate of Aeridor itself. What began as an act of mere thievery had transformed into a catalyst for a dark and far-reaching quest. The accidental liberation of the first spell not only unbalanced the fragile equilibrium of a sorrow-stricken world but also heralded the beginning of an odyssey marked by ancient guardians, treacherous betrayals, and the haunting pull of irreversible destiny. In the silent aftermath of that fateful moment, every heartbeat echoed the gravity of the shattered seal. The relic's energies laced the very air with an ominous promise, intertwining her destiny with ancient forces beyond mortal reckoning. Shadows lengthened and the fabric of reality trembled at the cusp of a profound metamorphosis. Inevitably, driven by the awakening of forbidden magic and the irrevocable shift in fate, the young thief embarked upon a journey marked by peril and inner turmoil. Leaving behind the familiar shadows of the crumbling city, she traversed desolate roads that wound through fields of broken dreams and ancient battlegrounds shrouded in spectral mists. The path was long and treacherous, lined with remnants of lost civilizations and haunted by echoes of battles fought in ages past. Each step carried her further from the triviality of petty thievery and closer to a destiny that promised both salvation and destruction. As she ventured deeper into the unknown, the landscape around her transformed subtly. The dense forests that had once embraced life now bore a somber hue, with gnarled trees and twisted vines forming natural archways shadowed by grief. The very air seemed imbued with sorrow, whispering ancient secrets and timeless regrets that resonated with the pulse of the earth. In the quiet moments between heartbeats, the spirits of the land reached out, their spectral forms barely visible against the dying light. They were remnants of once proud guardians, now faded echoes of valor and woe, silently observing the unfolding of events with a melancholic reverence. In the wake of her journey, the young thief encountered signs of past glories and present despair. Crumbling monuments bore inscriptions of forgotten heroes, and abandoned shrines flickered with the ghostly remnants of prayer. Nature and magic intertwined, creating landscapes that were as breathtaking as they were heart-wrenching. Each vista revealed layers of history written in stone and sorrow, a testament to the cycles of hope and despair that had long ruled Aeridor. The haunting beauty of this realm lent both weight and purpose to her journey, urging her onward through trials that were as much internal as they were external. The relentless march of time and the inevitable interplay of light and shadow painted her path with both wonder and terror. The road ahead promised encounters with enigmatic guardians and cryptic signs woven into the very fabric of the land. A relentless challenge to master forces that threatened to consume everything in their wake. With every stride she took, the spell's lingering echo guided and tormented her, a perpetual reminder of the price exacted by the allure of forbidden power. The journey into darkness was not merely a physical traversal but a profound odyssey into the depths of the soul, where every fractured memory and buried sorrow beckoned her toward an uncertain fate. In the growing twilight of her journey, the surroundings took on an almost dreamlike quality, where reality blurred with the realm of visions and half-remembered folklore. Silent echoes of ancient lullabies drifted on the breeze, and the sky itself seemed a canvas painted with sorrowful hues. This mystical interlude deepened her resolve even as it stirred latent fears, compelling her to march on through the ever-looming specter of despair and the promise of unforeseen enlightenment. The quiet majesty of dusk was a solemn vow to persevere. On the winding trail that led toward undiscovered sanctuaries, the path was fraught with the remnants of betrayal and the watchful eyes of time-worn guardians. The land, steeped in sorrow and layered with secrets, bore evidence of alliances shattered by ambition and trust betrayed by the relentless pursuit of power. Ancient stones and time-weathered monuments evoked the memory of once sacred oaths and the spectral traces of honor that had long since crumbled into dust. Amidst these relics, the young thief found herself confronting the dual forces of loyalty and treachery, her every step resonating with the crash of distant, forlorn hearts. The journey revealed that the echoes of ancient guardians were not mere folklore but living embodiments of a duty long forsaken. Ethereal figures, born from the meld of memory and magic, watched over the hidden enclaves with eyes that burned like fragile stars. Their forms, at once both majestic and melancholic, seemed carved from the very essence of sorrow and remembrance. As the thief progressed along the winding corridors of time, these spectral protectors emerged as silent arbiters of justice, their presence both a guide and an omen. They carried the scars of battles fought in realms beyond mortal ken, and their silent vigil bore testament to the unyielding passage of eras marked by both light and deep-seated grief. Yet, intertwined with the legacy of guardians was a bitter strain of betrayal that clung to the foundations of Aeridor's crumbling fortresses. In cavernous halls and abandoned citadels, faded murals chronicled tales of honor turned to treachery, where kin had risen against kin in a desperate bid for eternal dominion. The young thief sensed the pulse of these ancient conflicts, each step echoing with the weight of ancestral regrets and the silent fury of broken bonds. The realm seemed to murmur warnings through the rustle of wind over shattered battlements, cautioning her of the perils that lay hidden in the shadows of history. Amid the interplay of spectral light and encroaching darkness, the path forward became a crucible of choices, where every decision bore the risk of igniting old wounds and unspoken enmities. The guardians, embodiments of sorrow and honor intertwined, loomed as both mentors and reminders of what was lost. Their unwavering eyes bore into the depths of her soul, urging her to confront not only the external threats of treachery but the internal tumult of a heart scarred by past misgivings. In this liminal space between what once was and what might yet be, the echoes of divine judgment and mortal fallibility merged into a singular, haunting refrain, a prelude to the ultimate confrontation that would decide the fate of Aeridor's fragile existence. Carved into the silent edges of memory, betrayals whispered lessons of regret and resilience. Weathered walls urged caution, as if the past sought to warn those daring destiny's challenge. In that moment, the weight of history reminded her that even pure intentions might falter in ambition's shadow. Her resolve burned against ancient sorrow. As the moon ascended over the desolate horizon, the stage was set for the final reckoning between light and encroaching darkness. The young thief, now weathered by the trials of her journey and burdened by the legacy of forbidden spells, stood at a precipice of destiny. The air vibrated with an ancient energy, crackling with both menace and a fragile hope that perhaps redemption was still within reach. Every shadow bore a memory of past transgressions, and every glimmer of light offered a promise of renewal. The realm of Aeridor held its breath, suspended in a moment where time itself seemed to waver between destiny and despair. In that charged silence, the spirits of old gathered like silent sentinels, their ethereal forms a testament to the sacrifices of ages past. The guardians who had once watched with detached sorrow now embodied a determination, forged in the crucible of loss and rekindled honor. The young thief, with eyes reflecting both sorrow and unquenchable resolve, prepared to confront the final barrier that separated her from either salvation or ultimate ruin. The cascade of the first spell's lingering power served as both a warning and a guide, illuminating the fraught path ahead where every choice could alter the destiny of not just one, but all who dwelled in this battered realm. In this pivotal hour, the realization dawned that the 7 spells of sorrow were not merely instruments of devastation, but keys to understanding the profound interplay between human frailty and an inexorable desire for transcendence. This decisive moment unmistakably heralded both final endings and hopeful beginnings.